Hello, welcome back to Administrative Results. I have made a piece of tactical equipment that I would like to share with you and let you know that it is for sale. I see that you're eyeing this. Don't worry about this. This is a surprise musket tool that will help us out later. Gentlemen, I present to you the AR64 rig. I'm pretty excited for it because it's probably been over 6 months in the making. So I want to give you a little bit of the backstory behind it. You should have seen me rocking this before on the channel. This is the 32 Battalion Neo Mauler rig designed by Johan Neo Mauler during the South African Bush Wars. I gotta give credit where credit is due. Commando Store did a really good job bringing to market an OG variant of the Neo Mauler webbing. Now in that video, the South African government got a hold of that Neo Mauler webbing and brought their own versions of it to the military for use. I believe that's what we have right here comparing to what is originally shown in their version of the video. And that's what we based our design around. I got this kit from Misty Mountain Supply, which was very kind to send it over. I fell in love with it, but because they are harder to find, they're a little bit more rare, they aren't widely available, and there's some certain things about it that I wanted to update to use for myself, and I thought, well, if I think this is cool, chances are you guys will think it's cool too. With my buddies over at 3F Supply, I got with them and we came up with a plan to update it, and this is the rough draft. It's a little bit larger, a little bit chonkier. A lot of the pouches have been increased in volume so you can carry more stuff. The big difference between the rough draft, there's about 3 big differences. One is the black nylon accoutrement, the black buckles, and the flaps on the side are bigger. So the flaps on the side are a little bit too big, so when it came to cinching down stuff and keeping the weight close to your body, they weren't doing it yet. So with the rough draft, I noted everything that was wrong, and then we get to the final draft version. The final draft version having tan buckles, no black nylon straps, and a reduced size of the flap. That way you have more leverage to cinch things down to your body because I'm carrying a lot of weight on me. I believe I have 250, only 450 rounds of linked belt fed ammo on me in this current configuration. You never know when you have to keep heads down. Now, the idea behind this rig is that it is supposed to be a large chungus of a rig for your long range LARPing or whatever you have to do. It's a bit more in the genre of a, light infantry style role, where a lot of the gear coming out of recent years have been more orientated, is what it seems like, to more high-speed cool guy roles. The typical high-speed cool guy look is like your ballistic helmet, your plate carrier, your battle belt, and you get dropped off in a helicopter. Well, I don't have a helicopter, and if I had to survive the Axis powers invading my local HOA, I may have to carry a lot more stuff on me or have my kit carry a lot more stuff on me. So be it. Now, the nice thing is you can always strip down if you had to, but that being said, we have on here a lot of stuff that you can carry. I feel like I got a monkey off my back once I got that thing off me. So this part of the video is kind of like an update because I wanted to show what the final draft version will look like, just so you have a better picture of what you will maybe buying if you want to buy it. So that is why there is so much different going on for the thoroughness of this, I would say. Word salads. Yummy, yummy. So the idea behind this rig was volume, carrying more stuff on your person. When I was first getting into the gun space, I remember micro rigs were all the hotness. Dudes would be like 300 pounds overweight talking about how carrying 3 mags in a micro rig made them feel that much more faster, and I thought that's a little bit ironic. Nonetheless, despite not trying to bully those guys too hard, what we see coming out of the more contemporary conflicts is guys are carrying a lot more gear on them. They're loaded out with load-bearing gear, they have some level of armor and protection on them, and it seems like the idea is to occupy space, make it yours, and hold it for as long as possible until you may be relieved by the next guys. And taking a little bit of that thought process and applying it to, say, you guys, the American citizen, I think it's a practical piece of kit for something along those lines. Or maybe you may be doing some long-range patrol or something. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what the rig was originally designed for. Hot Dog 7, this is Baker 5-0. I have enemy armor in the open. Let Commander know it is stationary. He can use a precision. I repeat, he can use a precision. Hell, that loose reference. I got you. Listen, I know you're new to being a recon sniper, but we gotta take those artillery guns offline. Command chat specifically asked us to. I'll create a diversion, you snipe them. Godspeed. Now this rig can hold a lot of stuff, and that's the whole idea behind it. You have these two massive side saddles, pouches all around those side saddles, pouches on your webbing, pouches on your lower back, a small one that can come down to be pretty flat, and you have some front GP pouch. For instance, I'll usually throw some nods or some binos in there. In the B-roll footage of this video, you will see a massive amount of mags being interchanged inside of it, as well as linked ammo. The goal was to be as compatible with as many weapon systems as possible and carry as much ammo as possible. Now, the side saddle is designed to carry 2-quart water bottles or whatever else you want to put in there. You can throw additional ammo, snacks, or linked ammunition, and maybe even some more stuff, even with the water bottle that's a 2-quart in there. Now on the front of the rig, there is some GP pouches. We upped the size of one of the zippered GP pouches, and I believe we also upped the size and dimensions a little bit of the other GP pouch. You can either store more mags in there if you want. Now I typically go with some sort of night vision device stored in a padded container in that pouch. Now one thing I wanted to add to these pouches was to keep loose items closer to you if they were inside of your side saddle or front GP pouch. We added elastic bands inside of there to help retain that weight closer to your body so it's not just potentially flopping around. So if you do have loose mags, loose accoutrement, you can stuff it inside of those and it should help retain them closer to the person. That's gonna be in the front GP pouch and in the side saddles. Now the mag pouches were a very important detail to me. Since I own a wide variety of firearms, I wanted them to fit a wide variety of magazines. I wanted them to be able to fit 30-round H-car magazines, which they do. Now, the downside of this is that those mag pouches may swallow up certain mags, making it a little bit hard to get out. So a trick that I would recommend is taking some sort of sock, stuffing it down that mag pouch, and so it keeps the mag elevated for a quick access. Can't have your cake and eat it too, but you can also store any kind of mag that you want. Double stacking 308 mags, double stacking AKM mags, stuff like that, where typically those pouches are kind of tight. We upped the size and volume so that you can fit 2 in there. On the right side saddle, there's 2 pouches for grenades. I have 2 civilian smokes in there, some Mil-X smokes. On the back of the right side saddle, there is a mag style pouch. Now this pouch is a little bit tighter on the back of the side saddles. You can stuff a mag in there, you can stuff a radio in there. I typically go radio on my left back side saddle, and then I typically go another spare mag on the back right side saddle. Now on the back, we have that back pouch, which we upped the size of that as well so you can fit more stuff in there. I typically go with a rain cover, MRE of some kind, and then I'll probably throw a cleaning kit and some ass wipes in there just to have them on you. Ass wipes are important. Now on the left side saddle, there is a pouch designed for medical. We upped the size of that pouch to take up more real estate so you can fit more stuff into your IFAC that you deem worthy. One thing that I am very passionate about, yet limited due to the legality because I don't have an FFL or an SOT, is belt-fed weapon systems. Now I have a semi-automatic MG42 here, which is it's kind of like kissing your sister. Nobody wins unless you're from Alabama or something like that. It's just not fun. So that's a big downside about semi-automatic belt feds, but that allows me to build out a kit around it, and this, I think, is a practical kit for those guys if you like to run belt feds. I think it has a wide range. Now, on the old Neo Mauler rig that I have, on the left and right side saddle, there was real estate that was free. It's free real estate. So we added some small pouches down there so you can throw some more items that you deem fit. Batteries, sporks, lighters, Zins, cigarettes, whatever your vice is. I don't know, but you have the option. Now the straps are pretty stout. They are not like the more modern straps that we are seeing, and I wanted to keep it with the original silhouette. On the straps, there's a lot of straps. Now on the harness, you have some smaller straps for retaining wires, attaching whatever you want to it, giving you a lot of options. And on the straps themselves, there are 2 pouches so you can store even more items in it. Now, when it comes to dump pouches, the rig isn't necessarily super dump pouch friendly, but you can still fit it onto the rig. On the back of the butt pouch, on my current one that we're gonna be selling, I attached a single point dump pouch. I typically like to have the option of a dump pouch. I know it's kind of a contentious point with some guys, are like, if you don't need it, get rid of it. But I like just having a pouch where I can throw mags, water bottles, anything I find, or just anything I need in that little pouch, right? If you're LARPing extra hard. Now, things to note. So we use zippers on the rigs. Now, they're not gonna come with any sort of pull tab on the rig itself. It's up to you if you wanna add those. Now, with some of the harder to reach spots of the zippers, I added my own pull tabs using 550 cord and shrink wrap, the electrical shrink wrap, whatever the hell you wanna call it. You use a heat gun, shrinks down, and you have an easy tab to pull. And it looks rather elegant. There are hook and loop on the inside between your body and the side saddle so you can fit inserts in there. Now, I may bring some inserts specifically for this rig to market, but we're just getting this whole operation rolling. It's still very much in its infancy, and I don't plan to be like some sort of nylon titan of the gun industry. I'm just making this because I think it's cool. A lot of word salad to say as I use the Velocity System 762 inserts. I had to bunch it down a little bit to get it to fit, and they're currently in the rough draft rig. So I can typically fit a TQ and then some sort of mag pouch in it. Observe. Or you could fit a pistol or something like that. But it gives you more real estate. You can carry a lot of ammo on you, as well as water, smokes, grenades, whatever else you want. Now, if I had to poo-poo on my own rig, give you some cons because I feel like that's fair, it is definitely a big rig. It's a big rig. It's a delicious dish from the restaurant Oregano's, the big rig. Maybe I should have just called it the big rig. It's gonna be heavy if you load it out how I load it out. 2 liters of water on each side plus 762 mags makes for a pretty heavy rig. You will feel the mass of the world on your shoulders, but you will know that you have everything you need to LARP extra hard. I use this rig at a match. It was the IDARM up in Flagstaff. Higher elevation, and I was carrying all my SCAR mags actually. I think I had 11 SCAR mags on me. At the very least, I for sure had 9. I'm a little bit hazy because this was back in July. Then I had an additional 60 rounds of 762 in boxes inside of the side saddles on top of water. I was in the trooper division, which means you have to carry everything you need on you the entire match. And it was tricky trying to be quick in the rig in a match style setting where you're trying to be fast and nimble working against a clock. Now, it does work in conjunction with armor. You can wear it over some sort of slick armored carrier if you so desire. I would say it's not the most optimal harness to do that with, but it is an option if you want to go that route. I do remember the fad of the micro rig coming out, and I don't have anything against micro rigs because I do think that they really have their place in your gear closet if you're doing certain things and you're getting paid to carry a gun and it requires certain jobs you need to do. Now, I will say it also has some drawbacks because if you have to carry a bunch of stuff, you just really can't do it. So who knows how long your hypothetical gunfight will last if the Axis powers of your HOA parachutes into your bowling alley. You gotta be prepared. So that was the idea behind it. I wanted to carry a lot of stuff that you would need. I wanted to have all of those items. Now, another reason I went with this style of rig is because I really did enjoy the Neo Mauler webbing, but I thought it could use a little bit of a facelift. The goal is to carry as much stuff as possible, efficiently. Buy it. So ultimately, I am pretty excited for something like this. Is it the do-all, end-all of your gear collection? Yes, probably not. But I think it's a really cool option, and it has a touch of retro nostalgia, which is very on brand for what I like to do. Taking old guns and making them a little bit more modern and bringing them into the 21st century. I like that kind of thing, and I wanted to do it with gear as well. Now, it's not gonna be the cheapest rig on the block. It's not gonna be the most expensive rig on the block. It's coming in at $400. There was over 2 yards of material used to make this rig, and you do get a good bang for your buck, I would say. As someone that has spent money on cheap gear, someone has spent money on expensive gear, I'm biased. I would say I feel like it's a pretty fair price for all the labor and everything that went into it to getting it made. Buy it. Is this the best rig ever made? Yes. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Buy my rig. Buy it. This is the worst sales pitch ever. Now, for transparency's sake, this was not made in America, but it was not made in China. All right, I made sure it wasn't made in the CCP. I'm gonna give you guys some insider. So many gear within the tactical industry is not made in America. Now, there are some brands that have to make it in America for those government contracts, and the price reflects that gear. If we did make it here, it would be even that much more expensive, and the price would reflect that. The quality of the rig is pretty top notch because, from what I was learning from the manufacturing industry, so much of that has been exported for years now, and the quality that they have there is even better than what we can make in America now because of their textile industries that have been outsourced. Now, if that's a hang up for you, I totally get it. I wish we could have made it here, but I didn't want to drive the price up that much more than it was already going to be. Cope, cope, cope. I have to say that within good conscience because I know it's going to be asked and I have to be clear on that. The goal is to make as high quality of a product as possible for as reasonable of a price as possible to get it to you guys. Now, when we look at the Second Amendment, I really do believe that the American citizen should be as armed to the teeth as possible, having whatever gear and guns that they want. And the gear is an important accessory to the firearm so you can carry more stuff that makes the American citizen that much more lethal. Within our current time frame, nylon gear is that. Maybe in 100 years, it's gonna be like us having some sort of Halo Spartan Mjolnir armor. I don't know. I'm gonna be dead by then, which is gonna be a massive bummer. Born too early to have Conquistador armor, born too late to get Spartan Millionaire armor, born just in time for YouTuber nylon rigs. So on these rigs, there's going to be a limited lifetime warranty, so as long as you don't blatantly like cut it in half under your own fruition, we'll get you taken care of. Combat roll! Combat roll! Combat roll! Combat roll! Combat roll! Ultimately, gentlemen, I am pretty excited about bringing this rig to market. They're gonna be available on my website. There'll be a link for that in the description down below if you wanna go check it out. I have no idea the level of interest for something like this. If you guys are gonna love it or if you guys are gonna hate it, let me know in the comment section down below. There is some cool history to it. There is some cool facelifting done to it to make it a little bit more modern and appropriate for this era. Do I think it's a do-all, end-all piece of kit? Yes. Just kidding. But yes, I will do some self-shilling for this. Ultimately, gentlemen, I am pretty stoked about this. This was something that I wanted for myself, and I thought that you guys may think it is cool. And if you do, that's awesome. I am stoked. These will be available for sale in my website, and the link for that will be in the description down below. I have nothing else for you, gentlemen. Godspeed. You can carry quite the amount of 5.56 on you. 6, 8. You can easily fit 10 mags on you. 6, 8.